Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at the fourth game of Dr. Finn's Kickstarter, and it is called Biblios, Quill and Parchment. Not Biblios the dice game. That's a different game. This is a dice game of Biblios, but it's Biblios, Quill and Parchment. Biblios, Quill, and Parchment is a game for 2 to 4 players where players are trying to walk around a town, discovering new sacred texts, trying to learn more about 5 different types of texts, and maybe being a little bit pious. You know, you gotta have some piety. It's just something you gotta do. But really what you're doing, you're rolling dice. You're using these dice to cross off some stuff on a scoring card, which you can take a look at. It's gonna look like this. So you're going to be using these dice to cross off different things on this scoring pad to try to get the most points. If you played Biblios, you're going to recognize some of the things that go on here, but if you haven't, doesn't matter. Let's go to the table and we'll check it out. All right, so here's a game of Biblios, Quill and Parchment, all set up for 2 players. Now let me go over something really quickly. Normally in a 2-player game, there's a dummy 3rd player that kind of does some stuff, so this is more interesting. I don't care about that right now. I just kind of want to show you how the game plays. If you want to have a deeper 2-player experience, that's in the rule book, so you can check that out. All right. So that being said, this is what the setup looks like. You're going to give each player a board. I'm playing on the B side. There's also an A side, and you can flip this part, the chapel board, actually to be an A side as well. But I'm going to roll with the B side. And you're going to set the initial colors of dice to 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. This dice will come in handy later. You're going to give each player 3 book dice, which look like that. They're going to have 5 of the books and 1 chapel side, some influence, and a movement die. And one more thing. Circle's going to go first, so they're going to go here, and then square will go right there. That's the altar. We're trying to get to the top of the altar for some points. All right, so now on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to roll your dice. You take all your dice and you roll them. All right, so I have these results. Then what you're allowed to do is you're allowed to roll 1, roll all, or roll none. So I'm going to go ahead and roll 1. Have that result, and I'll keep that, so I'm done. This player will do the same thing. I'm just going to roll them once, and whatever they get, they get. And then we're going to kind of focus on this player. All right, so that is that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mark stuff off of our board. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark all of our books. So in this case, I have a pink book, a blue book, so I'll cross those off. So blue, pink. I have a chapel, which we'll come back to in a minute. I have 12 influence, which we'll write right here. And I have a movement, which will let me move around here, or a star, which will let me bump a wild up here. But I think I'm actually going to use the movement. So I'm going to take the movement and I'm going to go, no, I'll use the star. So I'm going to use the star and go here, cross that in. That can only be used once, and I can cross off a book. If you don't get to these -3s here at the end of the game, you lose points. This player will do the same. I'm not really going to mark their board probably any more than this. Might as well. It's just hard to reach. So blue or red, green, pink. They have 10 influence. And then they're going to move 1, so they'll just go right there. All right. So there we go. That was the end of round 1. Now we're going to do round 2. Oh, I have chapel. Sorry, I forgot. I also have a chapel action. So the way the chapel works is you're going to be moving from, well, the altar, I guess. You're going to be moving from the back of the altar up to the front. So I am circle. So what you're going to do is you're going to move to the next column all the way to the farthest, as far as you can go to the left. So I'm going to go right there. When you hit that, you're going to get points at the end of the game. When you hit that, you're going to get to do one of the star actions. All right. So now we're going on. I want that one. I want to roll this one. Okay, there we go. I'm done. They're going to get 1 roll and stick with it. All right, so there they go. All right, so this is mine. I have another chapel. So I'm going to cross off 2 gray. So I did those. 2 movement. So I'm going to go here to here. I'm going to cross off a cross. I need to do X's because I can't see. So the cross, for every X that you mark here, there were 3 points. So I now have 3 points. And then I have 11 influence. I'm going to add these together. And that is 23. Then I have another chapel. They do not have a chapel, so I'm going to move up one more to here. I now have 2 points. Then they're going to cross off their stuff. So they have 11. So they're at 21. They have 2 pinks and a green. So pink, pink, green. And they're moving twice. So let's go. Oh man, that stinks. So they're going to go 1, 2. So they're going to go right there. All right, so they haven't gotten any bonuses. And this one you have to go. You can't go through a spot and get a bonus. You have to physically circle the spot. All right, so that's round 2. Now we're going to round 3. So I'm going to, I like all this. I'm going to re-roll this. One more time. All right, now I have to stop. So you get 3 maximum re-rolls. So I have a 6 here, which is going to give me 29. So we use that. I have 3 movement. So I will go 1, 2, and a city. For every city you circle, you're going to get points based on 1, 2, or 3. So I have 1 city right now, so I'll circle that. I have 2. Then I'm going to cross off 2 pinks. And I have a gray. So let's cross off the gray. All right, that was that. Now it's this player. I need to roll for them if I didn't. If I did, sorry, I'm rolling again. No big deal. All right, so they have a chapel. So that will let them go here. Then I have pink and red. So pink, red. I have 8. So we're at 29. Then I have 2 movements. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I get a reroll. The question mark means I get to roll one of these dice. See what comes up. So I get a gray. So I'm crossing off a gray book. All right. Round 4, last round of part A, then we're going to move into phase period 2. All right, so I have 4 and 1. I'll keep all this. I'll re-roll this one. I'm fine with that. So I'm going to do 8. So I have 37. I have 1 movement or an X. Let's do an X. I want to put it here. So I have a pink, a gray, and a blue. Pink, gray, blue. All right, so that's mine. Now they have to roll. Can't reach it. That's what they're gonna. I'll go ahead and give them another roll. One more. All right, so they have 9 influence. So that'll give them 38. It's terrible. Sorry, I'm writing sideways. So they have a chapel, which will move them up here. They have a green and a gray. Green, gray, and 3 movements. So they're gonna go 1, 2, 3 to capture that gray. All right, so that's the end of period 1. I'm going to walk through period 2. I'm not going to play through it because it's going to function kind of similarly, but there's going to be a little bit of differences. So if you can see on this player board, it's going to have some spaces for some dice. So during this phase, there's going to be this row, and then there's going to be this row, which will be 3. And I think there will be another row if you're actually playing the real thing, but I'm not going to do that. So there's going to be a different amount of rows based on the number of players. Then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these influence points to bid to try to get a row. So before we start bidding, we're going to roll each row, and then we're going to live with that. So we have that, 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 and that. Then we'll roll this one. Then we have these 2. All right. So this row is going to let you do the embellishment die, which is going to let you increase or decrease how much the books are worth, which I'll explain in a minute. And then this row, you can change one of these, take one of these dice if you don't like the result, and re-roll it. So I'll do 1 round of this. So say I'm going to bid, I'll bid 2. So that'll bring me down to 35. This player realizes they don't really care, so they're just going to go 0. So 38. So I get first dibs because I bid higher. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one. And then they are going to take this one. They're actually not going to re-roll, so they're just going to go ahead and mark their 2 blue. And they'll mark the red because they feel good about that. Whoops, that one shouldn't be crossed off. this one should be crossed off. All right. Now I got to do my thing. So I get 2 movements. So I'm going to go 1, 2. I get to reroll one of these in a second. So I get a green, a red. I'll reroll one. Have another green. Then I get to increase and decrease 1 die. Kind of like normal Biblios with the priest cards or Catholic Church cards. So I'm ahead on gray. I'm not ahead on any. So I think I'm going to try to push ahead of them in gray. So I want to increase gray to 4. And I can see that they are currently beating me in red. So I'm actually going to bring red down to less, to 1. All right, then we're going to keep doing that for 3 more rounds. And let me talk about how final scoring works. So the way final scoring works is you're going to score up all of these areas. So you're going to get points. You can kind of see everything leads to the section. So if you make it to the top of a book track, whoever would make it there first would get to add 3. So say it looks like this at the end. We'll just say I made it here, and I'll give them the red one. These are the only 2 tracks we made it up, so they'll get that. All right, so you're going to add these points here. So I would get 3, they would get 7. Purple, you're going to look and see how many cities you visited and write those numbers. So I got 2. They didn't get any. This total, we'll say that this total right here is what they have, just for the sake of this. So you're going to take this divided by 3, which will be 16. And I'm going to take 35 divided by 3, which will be 15. You're going to get 3 points per X on this cross. So I get 3, they get 0. You're going to look at where you are on the altar. We're each going to get 2. Because we're both right here. And then you're going to look at the books. And this is where most of the scoring comes in. So we would look at the blue track. Whoever gets first place is going to get 3 times that die. Whoever gets second is going to get 2 times that die. So in this case, I would get 3 times the die, which is 4. So I would get 12. They would get 8. Now in a 2-player game, I'm not sure if you get 2 or 1, whatever. I'm just going to go with that. Again, you can look at the rule book. We'll do gray. I have 4, they have 3. So I would get 12. They would get 8. Sorry for the sideways. Pink, we're tied. When that's the case, it's whoever's closest on the altar. I'm the closest because I'm furthest to the left. When there's a tie, it's whoever's furthest to the left. So I would get pink, so I would get 3. I would get 9. They would get 6. Green is them, so they would get 6. I would get 4. And then red would be them by a lot. So they would only get 3 points because I made that 1, and I would get 2. Then you're going to add these together. 24, 33, 37, 39. Then whatever they have. And then you're going to add all these totals together. So I'd have 41, 44, 49, 51, 54. And then whoever has the most points is the winner. And on the other side, it's similar. Same kind of thing. These are going to be static points. There's not as big of penalties here if you don't cross off stuff. This total is divided by 4. The crosses are worth 2. And when you're doing the path, you just do an X and you circle when you get the bonus. So you're just following through here. You don't have to draw lines and stuff. Still same kind of deal. You want to get all of the cities if you can to get 10 points. And that's it. So that's Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. Let's go up to the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was Biblios, Quill, and Parchment, not Biblios the dice game, Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. I don't have a ton to say about this other than this is a super fast, super fun roll and write that gives me the feel of Biblios. So in Biblios, I don't know, I'll hold this card up. In Biblios, you have the dice that are going to represent how many points you're going to get for the sets of color cards that you have. This is the same kind of deal. You're trying to get different amounts of knowledge in books to score the points on that die here. So you're going to be using this embellishment die like I showed you to take some stuff up, take a die up or down, or just manipulate one up and down so it stays the same, your choice, to try to get the most points. So that part is Biblios. The rest of it is a roll and write. You're rolling stuff, you're writing down your results. You're trying to do better than other players, score the most points. The production is really nice. I really like the dice. These dice, they're cool and wood. They have kind of like a cool feel of Biblios. And I really like these wooden dice too. They're really slick. Not sure if these are 100% final, but what I have here is cool. And these influence dice, white with orange letters, all the dice are easy to tell apart from what you need them to do. And I like it. So I'm not going to beat around the bush too much on this one, other than the fact that I like it a lot. It's probably up there as one of my favorite Dr. Finn games because you can bang. We played 2 games in like 20 minutes as 2-player. We didn't use the dummy player because I don't like that. We just raced. I did some little house ruling. So the book track, we got 3 times the points and 1 time. So there was a little more like risk and reward to not do those books. But either way, we banged out a couple games in like 30, 40 minutes, maybe even less than that, 20 minutes. And it was great both times. We did side A, side B, just had a great time. So I'm going to give this a BGM accepted seal. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 4 out of 5 wrenches. On our arbitrary wrench scale, that means absolutely nothing. But we give it the games that we enjoy because that's what we do. And this is a channel about board games that we like. So there we go. So that's Dr. Finn's, Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. There'll be a link to the Kickstarter in the video description if you want to go check it out. So, as always, keep gaming.